Hello and welcome to this brand new video of Excel tutorial. In this video, we will be talking about statistical formulas. In this video, I am going to cover 8 top most used statistical formulas. We'll be cover sum, average, mean, max, count, count A, count blank. And I'm also going to give you the example so that you can consolidate your understanding. So we'll start with sum. Sum is nothing but the addition of all the numbers in a given range. Then we have average. Average is the mean value. Then we'll talk about max. In a given range, if you wanted to know the maximum value, then you can use max. If you wanted to know about the minimum value in a given range, you can use minimum value. Then we'll move on to count. Let's say you wanted to know the count of cells. Make sure to understand this count of cells which contain only numbers. Okay, then in that case we will be using count. If you want to count all those cells which contain either number or text but the cell is not blank, it contains something, either number or text, doesn't matter, then in that case we'll be using count A. And let's say in a scenario where we try and understand and try and count the number of cells which are blank in a given range, then in that case we can use count blank for counting blank cells. Okay, let's try and understand all these 8 formulas through examples so that you can consolidate your understanding of all these formulas. So as we'll starting with sum. It is nothing but the sum addition of all these numbers. Okay, let's have a look at this formula and try and understand the definition. It says sum adds all the numbers in a range of cells. Okay, what does that mean? This is a range from Hindi, English, Math and Science 90 to 47. This is a range, so it's gonna count all those numbers in this given range. So press enter and here you are. Here you have got 174, which is the sum of when you add 90, 27, 10, 47, then only you'll get 174. Let me give you a brief example for that. We'll just add manually one by one all these 4 cells and try and have a look at this. Okay, say I have added all these 4 cells and I get the same number 174 as we have used some formula. So sum is nothing but a shorthand of addition. Okay, let's delete it. And once I have calculated for one cell, I can just either drag it all the way to down or I can double click on the bottom right corner. In the next cell, in the next column, we are trying and understand the average of all these 4 cells. Okay, so in that case we'll try and understand the average value the student R of summa obtained in all these 4 subjects. So we'll try and understand the average value. Okay, so we'll my bad, click equal to and then we type average and we try and provide this same range and press enter. So 44 is the average. Okay, here if you want the exact value you can just go on with this decimal value, but I'm not interested in the decimal value, so I'll gonna delete the decimal values. Okay, I can just double click over here and I can see we have got the average of all these 4 subjects for a particular student. Next, we'll try and understand the maximum value. In this formula, in this example, we'll try and understand and we'll try to calculate the maximum marks out of sum obtained in a subject. Okay, so we'll try and understand the maximum marks. So for that, we'll just click equal to, type max, and here we just have to provide the range and click enter. We got 90. If we try and have a look at these 4 cells, the maximum value is 94. That's why we get this maximum. Just have to click double click over here and you got the maximum value for every student. Okay, let's say for Rajat Bansal, if you try and have a look at this, he got 85. The maximum marks is 85. and you can see over here. Okay, next, in the next column, we try and understand the minimum value that a student get in all these 4 subjects. So we'll just have to click equal to and type min. And if you try and have a look at this definition, it says min returns the smallest number in a set of values. Okay, so we just have to press tab and we'll have to provide the range in which we're trying to find the minimum value and type enter. And here it is 10. If you try and have a look at the student Araf Sharma, he got 10. The minimum marks 10 in the mathematics subject. So here is the minimum marks. Just have to double click over here and get the minimum marks for every student. Okay, let's say if you wanted to try and have a look for Ananya Joshi, you can see she got 0 in science, which is the minimum marks, and you can have a look at this. Minimum marks is 0. So this is the one of the quickest way to find the sum, average, min, max. So we have covered all these 4 formulas. In the next example, we are going to have a look at all these 3 formulas, count, count A and count blank, to understand the counting of cells. Let's have a look at this, another example we have got here, and in this example we are going to calculate count, count A and count blank. Okay, so first of all, what does count do? Count just add count the number of cells which contain number only. Okay, so if you have a look at this, all those 4 cells, you can just count. The 90 is a number, AB is not a number, 10 is a number, and 47 is a number. So it's gonna provide it 1, 2 and 3, because it's gonna count cells which contain numbers only. So you just have to go over here and type count. It also says, the formula says count counts the number of cells in a range that contain numbers. Means the cell must contain number, that only it gonna be counted. Okay, you just have to type count and just have to provide the range and press enter, and here you go 3, because in the all 4 cells you can see the one cell is containing a text, and that's why it is not reflecting over here. That's why we get C as a count. And just use that, drag it down or double click. If you try and have a look at this, one cell is blank, and that's why you get this count 3. Let's have a look at this column. This range contains 2 number and 2 text. This range contains, my bad, okay, sorry, this range contains 2 number and 2 text, and that's why you get this count 2, because it's only count the cells which contain numbers. Next, we'll try and understand count A. Count A does, what does count A do? It is different from count. It is gonna count every cell which are not empty, every cell except empty. Okay, that means either the cell contain numbers or text, is gonna count that. But the cell, if the cell is empty, it's not gonna count that. Okay, so here we'll type count A. And if you try and have a look at this form on my back, count A, and try and have a look at this definition, it says it counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. This is very straightforward. Count A, if you want to count the number of cells in a range that are not empty, you just have to use count A. Let's have a look at this. And in this, once you press enter, you'll see it is providing you 4 as an answer, because all these 4 cells contain something, they are not empty. But if you try and have a look at the third example of Rohan Iyer, you can see that one cell is blank. So in this case, you'll get count A as 3. Okay, you just have to double click over here and come to this third example of Rohan Iyer. You'll see 3, count A is 3, because it is going to count every cell except blank cell in a given range. Okay, next, if you try and understand, let's say we are targeting to count the number of cells which are empty, which are blank. Okay, so basically we're trying to count the number of cells which are blank, and for that case you just have to press count blank, And if you try and have a look at this definition, it says counts the number of empty cell in a specified range of cells. Just count the number of empty cells, okay? You don't need to type the entire formula. Once you get that, you just have to press tab, and here you are. It is asking for the range, so again the range is gonna be the same, and press enter. It is saying 0. The count of blank cell is 0 because all these cells are filled with either number or contain text. That's why the count is 0. But in this case, you'll see count 1, and in the second last you will also see count 1. And let's say if I change this value to 0, press enter, and you can also see the count over here 1. Let's say I'm deleting this value as well. In this case of Sneha Nair, you'll get 2, count blank 2, because we have 2 blank cells. Okay, let's just double click over here, and in this case, okay, see, have a look at this Sneha Nair, a student name, and in the, 2 subjects, English and math, are blank, and that's why we are getting this 2 as the value. Okay, so I hope that I believe that you guys understand all these statistical formulas. And if you've got any doubt or you want this practice sheet, you can ask me in the comment. And if you have any other statistical formulas in your mind that you wanted to learn in Excel, you can just type the name in the comment box and just comment it down. I'll look forward to every comment to everybody and try and make a separate video on the remaining statistical formulas in the next video. For this video, this is it. Thank you for your precious time. Have a great day ahead.